Can't believe this. I found another video that I made back in July and August timeframe. This one is about the system and who they are. And I thought I'd go ahead and share it. Even though it was made back in July, it's still a timely message, and I hope that you enjoy it. You know, you can't fight an enemy unless you know who it is and what they are about. And a lot of patriots and conservatives know that there's an enemy out there, but they're not really able to tell you exactly who or what it is. And they use words like they and the system. Well, I think I got an answer for you. Maybe clarify who the enemy is and what we're fighting against. Stick around, we'll talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to Grumpy Acres. This is going to be an episode of full spectrum preparedness. It's the prepping side of the homestead, the prepper side of the homestead, where we talk about prepping and political issues and things like that. So anyway, who are they and what is the system? You know, when you ask people that, they talk about George Soros, Bill Gates, or they talk about the CDC or the Fed or the World Economic Forum. They talk about all these different entities. And really, whenever you talk to people, you get disjointed answers. And that tells me that we don't know who we're fighting against. We don't have a clear picture. We know some of the components and we know some of the people, but we don't have a clear picture of exactly what the battle is about. You know, before we go on, if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Join our virtual community here and get more content like this, okay? So now, I was listening to the Peak Prosperity YouTube channel, Dr. Chris Martinson, and he had a guy on about a year ago, and I cannot remember his name. I'll go back and look it up, and I'll put it down here so you guys can know what I'm talking about. He was talking about the system and who they are. And when he got done explaining it, it was kind of like an epiphany for me, because it really made me look at things in a different manner. It kind of opened my eyes up. Not an awakening. I'm not like it wasn't some earth-shattering idea or anything like that, but it was just he put it together in a way that made perfect sense to me, and I hope it makes perfect sense to you when I'm done. So anyway, he started talking about the system, and he explained that the system is the infrastructure, the interlaced or interlocking network of institutions and organizations and everything that were put together to promote the ideology of global capitalism. And it started roughly in the early 1900s. And all these institutions were created to promote this ideology. Now, before you go off talking about, oh, I'm going to bash capitalism, I'm not. What I'm talking about is the ideology of global capitalism and not the monetary theory of capitalism. So we've all got a pretty good idea of what capitalism, you know, in a nutshell and very simply put, it's people exchanging in free trade, not free trade, because somebody explained to me free trade means laissez-faire, and that's not what it means. It means people freely trading in goods and services without any interference. Okay, that's capitalism. So the ideology of global capitalism is the idea that everything has a value, and everything that has a value needs to be controlled, and that includes people. People are nothing more than assets in the big scheme of global capitalism. All right, and he said that global capitalism was created to battle international communism. And once international communism basically collapsed with the fall of the Soviet Union, global capitalism did not have anybody to fight against. And what's the first thing you do when a battle's over? You consolidate. So that's when, if you look back in history, you see the fall of the Soviet Union, and then you start seeing all these revolutions, color revolutions starting. And they were all backed by the same international organizations and the same people. right? And what they were doing was they were trying to consolidate control. Now that they had beaten the external foe, they had to consolidate the internals of what they control. He explained that organizations like the World Health Organization, the UN, the World Economic Forum, academia, and all this are all interlocked, and they're all promoting this idea. And if you look at it and you look at our society, it makes perfect sense, because everything has a value. Even you watching this, you have value. Right now, as you're watching this, YouTube is collecting information about you, and they are selling it. Facebook, all these social media sites, they collect information and they sell it, and they make money off it, and they use it to control people. All right? So that explains what the system is. The system is all these different organizations and interlocking, interlaced things that create these people that promote global capitalism. Now, and that's who they are. They are the people that the system creates in order to perpetuate and promote global capitalism, but they also create more theys. Does that make sense? You know, they people graduate from these schools, or they become members of these organizations, and part of the system's calling, if you will, is to create more people to promote global capitalism. All right, so that's who they are. The George Soroses of the world, and the Bill Gates, and the big corporate guy that raids companies and destroys them for profit. All these guys are products of the system, and they are they. And that's what makes it so hard to fight, and that's where people get frustrated. Because if you take one of these people out, there's always somebody willing to step up and take their place that's been indoctrinated into the ideology. Right? And this is one of the reasons why I don't believe in grand conspiracies. Because in order to have a grand conspiracy, you have to have a whole bunch of people getting together, and it invokes the imagery of people gathering in a smoke-filled room and doing all this stuff. And that, I'm sure that there are people out there that do that and talk about this stuff, how they're going to control assets and people. But in reality, it's a big network of fellow travelers. So they're all thinking about the same thing, and they don't have to have marching orders. There is no centralized command telling these people what to do, because they all think alike, and they're all indoctrinated in this ideology. That's why when you see things like elections and mandates and stuff like that, there's no grand conspiracy there. That's just a bunch of people that think alike, doing what they all know needs to be done. And patriots, if that's one thing you take away from this, patriots need to start being like that too. We need to stop the infighting, and we need to start promoting the Constitution and liberty. All right? Everything else will fall in place once we start doing that. We've identified who the enemy is, or what the enemy is. The enemy is the system. And we identified who the foot soldiers of the system are, and that's the people that the system generates and creates out of all these organizations and schools and such. So that's how we fight it. So we fight it by promoting an ideology that competes with it in the marketplace and wins, because it's a better ideology. And in my mind, the freedoms engendered by the Constitution, American greatness, and the ideas of liberty will always beat out the people that want to control us. It may take a while, and it may be hard, and it may get bloody at times, but in the end, that's how we win. All right, I hope this doesn't sound like the ramblings of a madman, because if it did, I apologize. But we need to start thinking about this in different ways. And once you start thinking about what exactly the system is and who these people are, who they are, then you see it more clearly, and we were able to create a battle plan for fighting against them, fighting back. All right, like I said, If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Give me a big thumbs up if you like this. Make a thumbs down, I don't care. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know if you think I'm crazy, or if you think I'm completely off base about what I'm saying and what I'm promoting here. Hit that notification bell so you know when we get more content coming out. All right? Most importantly, the biggest thing I want you to take away from this is we need to be vigilant, and we need to go live a life done free. All right? Take care. Thanks, Milo.